Today about Hindenburg's response to SEBI's summons and notice. So Hindenburg has given some very startling revelations in their reply. How do you see those replies, and in context of your tweet, if you say something?
See, so far, in connection with the short sale of Adani shares, right, we had only heard the name of Hindenburg. Right? Now, Hindenburg seems to have only prepared a research report. It prepared a research report on the Adani Group at the instance of a fund which was promoted by a couple called Kingdon and Anla Cheng. Miss Cheng. Anla Cheng is her name. Right? Now, Anla Cheng is a Chinese woman, a Chinese origin woman, she's a Chinese American. Now, after doing some research, we found out, right, that Kotak had been engaged to do the trading. So they set up an offshore fund, they set up an offshore account, right, and took money from this master fund belonging to this couple, American and Chinese couple, right. And the amount was estimated to be at 40 million, it may be more. And that amount was then used through Kotak and through Mauritius, the Mauritius route, to take positions, large positions, in Adani shares with the idea of once a report comes out and the report is negative, the market will go down, there will be a short sell. They will make money after creating that negative image of Adani. When you researched who this couple was, right, you found that the lady was being investigated by the US Congress. Right? She had run two big companies and she was being investigated by the US Congress because in the first company, a company called China, in which she was the promoter and the CEO. She was investigating. There was a lady called Shannon Van Sant, who was an employee, who then said, who gave testimony on a sworn affidavit, a sworn statement to the US Congress, that this lady was indulging in anti-American activities and that she suspected her to be a very, very accomplished Chinese spy. Right? On that basis, US Senate has called for an investigation, US Congress has called for an investigation into her espionage activities, if any, in China, in the US.
So, sir, China's direct hand seems to be involved in this case through its suspected spy.
Yes, because this lady first ran this company called, as I said, China. This company then morphed after this lady, the employee of China, gave that sworn statement. They changed the name of the company and made it the China Project. That company, once the US senators started asking for an inquiry, US congressmen in general started asking for an inquiry, they closed the project. But all the activities, this lady Van Sant, who worked for them, right, indicate that she was a lobbyist for China in the US.
So this was something which was against Adani directly, but it is something which has not impacted Adani only. It has impacted Indian market overall.
Yes, it has.
Indian politics discourse, and it has halted Indian parliament for many occasions. So do you think it's a deep-rooted conspiracy apart from targeting Adani only?
Well, SEBI needs to inquire this matter further, right? The motive is not only to target Adani. That's one of the motives. The motives are also to help the Chinese state, because Adani was a competitor in many serious international projects, ports, coal mines, etc. Right? In Jaffna, in Australia, in Haifa port, Sri Lanka. The Chinese were bidding for those. Right? The Chinese were outbid. The countries, preferred the bid of Adani. So this seems to have been an attempt, right, to subvert India's strategic interest by short selling and causing disrepute to an Indian investor who had become a strategic investor for India. That seems to have been the motive. Now, who was interested? The Chinese are the most interested. They are the biggest losers in this. And Adani has got his market cap back, more or less. More or less market cap is back. So that stock was hammered that day. I'm sure some people made money. I mean, I'm sure Kingdon and Anla, Cheng made money. But that was not the main incident. I mean, they made a few million, right? Few $1 million, which they had to share some of it with Hindenburg.
So what would you say on the politicians who were using this as a political tool against the government of the time, and they still use it as an excuse to target the government?
Listen, I have been saying it for a long time that the Indian National Congress and now the India Alliance have always been spokespersons for foreign interests who want to subvert India. And this establishes it. Right? This establishes it that all this was done, and this repeated hammering of Adani to destroy his reputation overseas, right, is meant to jeopardize India's strategic interests. For instance, these are all matters of importance to India, strategic importance to India. Haifa port is important. Coal mine in Australia was important. That coal mine was used up to a particular line. They made a railway line in Australia. And that railway line stopped well short of a Chinese coal mine. I think it was in the Galilee area of Australia. So that they would not service the Chinese. That rail line which Adani's constructed would not service the Chinese. So, and Jaffna, where they got another coal mine.